I logged out of it thinking that it wasn't worth having it basically be something that have like synced with your thing. If like they basically wrote to me and I didn't have any explanation on why, rather than having streamed from 2017 to 18, and I had got corrupt data after I changed the username and everything was bought brand new. At one point I had a receipt and everything in the box live streaming it. I don't talk in these live streams because it ruins concentration, and it'd be different if I was Twitch streaming on like mainstream media thing. That when I did Twitch stream, it didn't keep the videos up until they kept a clip of me starting a Gran Turismo session, and then they didn't show the whole entire clip. But I figured you have to pay a membership or something in order to get it unlocked where it keeps all the videos. If YouTube was concerned for my safety and we moved, and then it was only because the roof, the insurance at the time was going to cover it, and then they end up selling the house to somebody who was unstable that basically kept talking shit during the day without my parents being there, or someone else's or something, and I had footage and stuff that captured it midway through, and I don't understand that. It isn't fraud when you had said surgeries and nobody went through those said surgeries other than the person in the whatever the fuck that I had documentations of all that stuff. And I could go back and sue them if that's the case, because they're gonna leave you crippled or in a lesser state than in which you already was in or whatever. They don't know if you can see half. If you had eye surgery with the lens over your eyes, and they put a bright light with the thing, and then they shine in your eyes for about 30 minutes, a pop in both eyes to get the pressure down. Then I had the other stuff done with my hand. When I had gone through that, I had gotten a staph infection either by a drink, by a bug bite, or by the shower being faulty in the apartment that I was at for 2 years. I don't know if Dillard's is still open. I know there was one in the Great Mall of America when me and Evan went during that time frame, but now he's basically, with the analogy shit, I didn't understand if that was with, but it was like defamation, because we're still alive in that. I don't understand if they're being psycho with the whole thing that he only had a puppet, and then he basically gave away all the shit to his relative, that his nephew was 12 or 14 years old at the time. And I had my profile, but my email address basically got voided. And now I featured him as a channel because at the time he had my back, and they were basically, I guess, I wouldn't say like Two-Face, I guess. Put the wire on it. I was able to do all the other tracks. I don't know if that space, it has enough space to transfer your save file, but I don't know if they all want to have my side on this, because I had gotten dissed by people that are shallow, and I'm not shallow. I'm not writing a bunch of stuff in terms of how things are. If you got dissed by someone who you thought that you were going to be signed by them originally, and then they turn around and make a mockery out of you, that's not right. If I'm weird, so be it, but I'm just saying that, like, how if the person had got platinum trophies back in 2013 to 2014 and has proof of all that with the sync device on his Twitter, they know he's the one who was passing the football. And I wasn't really saying anything bad about him, but it made me mad that the dude kept saying that he would help me out, and the dude really doesn't help you out, it just makes fun of you. So At one point in time, I recorded stuff that I had on there, and it really was their voice saying that, but really wasn't really how it went down in terms of stuff. I'm understandable to cancer, and they understand that. They're thinking that I had cancer back then because I was light complected, dark complected, and people that have cancer get light complected and get thin, or mostly are stuff that occurs where they lose a bunch of weight because of the chemo and that. And then they really did check me for that back in 2005, and I had all sorts of surgeries and stuff. I don't know if I just said that guy off the Marvel movie because nobody made fun of him, and he had the same stuff that occurred with him, that Chad Boswick guy or whatever. And I didn't really make fun of them, but I figured if they promised you something back in the day and they don't deliver on it, then that's basically defamation on the standpoint of them not delivering on it, and slander in terms of them basically promised you something and you went through and you was able to deliver on whatever set goal it was. Made it to the 12th grade, but there's this spelling of it. Allen Edison, Allen Village is the same shit. It's just a different spelling. It's how Santa Rosa in Metcalf South Mall were the same shit, or they're like the plaza, and then how explaining that, like how Alta Vista and the Guadalupe thing is the same shit, but just basically different spellings. I understand how you get punked by people that don't realize the stuff. You have all the proof and you post that on there because you're trying to demonstrate what you have is real. And those brown folders do come from Shawnee Mission North, and I had that weird surgery at the hospital near there. And I know back then they should have prevented it to happening, the surgery itself. They're going to later on say a bunch of crazy shit that didn't occur. No, they're saying I'm stupid, but the fuck, I'm showing the evidence of I got into the 12th grade, and it really was me because I had a mole inside of my face and had demonstrated high school photos and stuff. I thought they just spoke nothing but Spanish. The guys that bought our house couldn't come up with the money. We should have countersued them back when they couldn't come up with the money and wasting the time, and then when they did, they were there making a mockery and saying a bunch of crazy shit. I had caught that on film. That's why I paused it midway through and heard all that. But I didn't make a race war off the mural that I made was based off a restaurant my grandpa owned. And I demonstrated drawing stuff at the Rock Hill Road where I was present at for the time of after going through high school classes through like a preparatory work program. I have proof of that, but I don't want to show off stuff because you're not only supposed to show off stuff inside Rock Hill Road and that. If that's the case, and go ahead and show it off, but they can't. They said they wouldn't prosecute somebody that worked there, and all it is real, and it is me. We had ADT on the house. We had nothing on our background checks then. If that was the case, they can't go forth and prosecute somebody years later after their parents die and blame them for a bunch of shit they didn't do. Here I really was with Evan back in 2010 when that John Paul Garcia guy got whatever happened to him, and it wasn't my fault. I wasn't there. They were there blaming me for something. I wouldn't be in a place where I was with someone else, didn't know the people that did it. They can't put bogus shit on you. They had photographs of me, said person, when the guy died, but I was Evan and all of them at Evan's house back then in 2010. I don't know now if he really do is gonna fucking say something else, but how come Kathy and them like my had my stuff on that profile if I was a serial killer, because that's where they were at. They would have told me something completely different under those photographs with Matt if that was the case. Then I have like a GIF or whatever of from 2019 going into 20 of Matt's mom. I guess with Evan, they were going to basically have me be something, or generally think that I was signed to something to come and talk with me. I got mad at them because they were talking shit, and all they do is talk shit. I have generally no focus of how they can do that shit without it being regulated or seen by someone else, or get caught doing something totally fucking bogus to someone, and they did that to me. They can't prosecute someone after their parents die when they went to school and that, and had all the proof in the world and shit. And they're just psychos. They know if 2004 that was me because I had a mole inside of my face. That was like a birthmark to where no one can take my identity, and that's why I try to point that shit out, and they still are psycho. I know the mirror image shit on the 30S has it flipped, and if you basically flip the image and it shows a mirrored image of something, then it's going on the other side, on your left side, and your right side has a mole or something. I caught those news people, Kathy Quinn and Mark Offord, basically talking shit, and I had something audio proof of them acting hysterical. Basically, if you're put under aesthetics at a hospital for not taking pills, and hearing that, all of them are serial killers. I mean, they're fucking just basically laughing at people hysterically that have no idea what they've gone through, and report that shit, and they just make fun of them and that, and it's just fucking horrible. It's like that John Oliver shit, that guy from HBO that was on Comedy Central back then, when the Bush administration was saying that they didn't give a shit about someone, they didn't cry about them, and they were heartless. I have all the proof. It isn't like forge in any way, because then I would be fucking like a scientist level, because it wouldn't have immunizations on something from a classified standpoint. I wouldn't be able to do all that shit. It was mailed at the address, and it was me that had gone through with it, because at the time I was still in high school from 2004 to 2008. I had all the proof of that. It isn't fraud if you get injured midway through and have to explain yourself from some standpoint of view of having surgeries, possession at an early age when you had no say. And I should be in a fucking wheelchair, and I'm not. I don't know why they laugh hysterically talking shit when they're not the ones that gone through it. They do all that crazy shit to people that have merits in that to get somewhere with it. They end up doing something to them because they're fucking further along than they are. I understand that shit, because they did that to that lady that went to Cecil Hotel that got thrown in a drainage ditch thing, and then she had basically proof too, and they made it seem like she was redundant. They did something to her. I say like Amanda Knox because they blamed her for somebody's murder, and they fucking had it to the point where it wasn't the murderer. They were set somewhere like playing video games at the time, back in somebody's basement playing video games, and basically with a set of people that were in a photograph from 2010 to 2011, but they're psycho in terms of stuff that basically think that's funny, that if I was some sort of serial killer, then they wouldn't be laughing hysterically talking all that shit. The fingerprints and that shit wouldn't even match. It wasn't me that made the lyrics, and the melody was made by someone who lived somewhere else, who had a cousin's last name that I was able to touch base with, and it was about explaining my side of the story from what I had standpoint. It wasn't made really by me, it was made by someone who had basically made melodies and stuff. Here, the Coffin Foundation promised me something, and they probably didn't keep their word in terms of stuff that I had gotten injured and basically had staying surgeries from the time being onwards, to saying that they had sustainable from cancer and stuff, and they didn't really know what the fuck they were talking about because they didn't have cancer at the time. And it really was for real that I was really extendable from all sorts of heart disease, cancers, and diabetes. And here I caught diabetes by probably COVID, because they said that was the symptoms if your fingers and toes turn different colors. I can't throw somebody away who had COVID that could get COVID relief and all that stuff from the government because of what occurred with stuff that I thought was sterile when I drank a coffee drink. I had all sorts of stuff wrong with the reason why I went to the hospital and cried to them because that happened. It isn't fraud. I hear what the fuck they're saying, and on the news, they're not the person who said who went through all that. It isn't fraud. Just because there's nothing, seems like nothing's wrong with me now, they can't throw you up because they can get sued for malpractice, and they're not the ones who did that shit to you in the first place. So they should just mind their business.